This is part 2 of a 3-part series on practical tips for time management. If you haven't already watched part 1, please do and then come back to this video. Tip number 5, use the tomato timer. I use the Pomodoro technique. Now this is broadly the principle of time blocking. Now I've heard Elon Musk also uses this, which must make it legit, of course. This involves carving out a fixed amount of time. And if you use the Pomodoro technique, it's 25 minutes. And you switch on this timer, and in that time, you dedicate yourself to the specific task at hand by blocking out distractions and focusing. And then after 25 minutes, you get up, take a break, and you start again. And to eliminate distractions, you can use things like commitment devices, which is effectively a fancy word for putting things away or locking yourself in for those moments. Now, what I typically do when I'm studying especially is put my phone away in a drawer or in a different room, or put limits on it. So I need to add like 5 passwords before I can open my phone or something like that. Tip number 6, reduce switching costs. Now this is especially important if you're trying to balance multiple different projects at one point in time. The trick is to not let your mind get sticky. So when you switch from one task or activity to another, you need to cleanse your mind of the previous activity before you get into the next one. When you're switching between subjects, if you're studying, or switching between your main job and your side hustle. And this could be as simple as getting up to get a glass of water, or doing a 2-minute release meditation, or actively going out and changing your space, stepping outside, doing 5 deep breaths before you come back to the next task. The goal is to reduce the cognitive cost of switching between activities so as to minimize wasted effort and wasted time between them. Tip number 7, wherever you are, be all there. Now this message made a strong impression on me when I was a student. Being present in the moment is such an important time management tip. Otherwise, you're wasting time, which is unforgivable, as my mom used to say. If it's a Tuesday afternoon, I'm thinking already about the weekend. And when it's the weekend, I'm worrying about what I'm going to be doing on Wednesday and this meeting that's going to happen. Now, of course, planning ahead is different because that's intentional time spent. Whereas unintentional ruminating on something that is going to happen or has happened in the past is actually quite useless. Being mindful about where your mental energies are is also an important time management tip. Tip number 8, goal on outcomes, not on time spent. Saying you'll study for 2 hours is not as effective as saying you want to read chapter 5 and 6 between 4 and 6 p.m. Now, this is important because of Parkinson's law, which is the law that states that work fills to expand the time we give it. And so if you goal yourself on time, you're likely doing yourself a disservice versus goaling yourself on tangible outcomes in a fixed duration of time. So be careful about how you word your objectives for the day. If you like this sort of content, please like this video and subscribe and share it with a friend who you think might benefit.